Hey, Vlad here, devinside.com. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to see how easy it is to manage custom ZSH completions. Let's get right to it. Now, if you're new here, you should probably know that this is mostly a Scala channel, so all of my videos, including this one, are Scala flavored. With that out of the way, let's begin. I have quite a few videos on my channel related to random command line tools. Some of them are related to Scala, some of them are not. Some of them have completions, some of them don't. Some of them at least allow you to install completions, others don't. And so I decided to look into completions for you, and this video is essentially all the things that I have learned. We'll see how to set up completions manually for a couple of Scala tools. We'll see how to keep them up to date, and we'll also learn how completions work in general in ZSH. And by the way, I already have a couple of videos about ZSH, so you might want to check them out. All right, so first and foremost, what are completions? A completion is a feature of a shell, ZSH in our case, that allows the shell to finish typing a command for you. It completes the command for you. This is usually accomplished by hitting the tab key, but it is configurable. It is quite common for shell tools to complete directory structures when you're changing directories or accessing files. It is also quite common for shells to dig deeply into command line tools like Git, Docker, and millions of others and understand their subcommands and arguments. Now, ZSH comes with quite a few completions out of the box, but if you have a tool that ZSH doesn't know, well, you can teach it. For historical reasons, I have always been a Windows user. However, recently I switched to WSL2 and I already have a couple of videos about it, so you might want to check them out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into one of my distributions. This is the one that I usually use for my videos. This is Ubuntu 20.04, and we're going to start getting our hands dirty. The first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to just demonstrate a couple of completions. So I have Git installed, obviously. So if I do Git and then I press space and then I press tab, then the ZSH is going to ask me, do you want to see all the 139 completions? And I'm going to press Y to say yes, and these are all of them. Okay, I can also type in Git and then press over here. When my cursor is over here, I can press tab once, then it's going to do this for me. Sometimes it actually moves my cursor. I'm sorry, not like this. Sometimes it actually moves my cursor like this. So right now I press space, but sometimes if you press tab, it moves the cursor one character, and then you press tab again, and then it will ask you the same thing. Okay. Now, what you can also do, by the way, I have a ZSH plugin called Autosuggestions, and all that it does is it looks into my history and it finds the latest command that matches whatever I already typed in. And so if I press right, it will autocomplete this for me. Okay, so technically this is also a completion, but in this particular case, it's a completion from the history. Okay, now I can also do git I, for example, and then I can press tab, and then it will complete only the commands that start with an I, for example, init. Okay, and then I can do another hyphen, and then I can do tab again, and then we can see the flags that I can, the arguments that I can pass to this command. Okay. Let me clear the screen. The way this is set up in ZSH is that there is a variable, a thing called fpath, okay, lowercase, okay, and it's just a bunch of directories. And by the way, notice that this is not like a path kind of variable. This is an array, so these directories are split with a space, okay, and inside of these directories there are essentially files, and inside of these files, what you have in there are the completion functions. They look pretty much very similar, like like regular bash functions, or ZSH calls them widgets if you start them with an underscore, but that doesn't really matter. Also note that there's also a capital fpath, and it's exactly the same thing, but this time it actually looks like a path concatenated string, right? So instead of the spaces, you have the colons. All right, now if ZSH doesn't have the completions, there are several ways that you can go about this. There are plugins, you can write them manually, you can download them from somewhere, but at the end of the day, it's going to be files that are simply laying on this fpath. In fact, in my particular case, I just created a random directory, which is something that most people do. And by the way, this directory is synchronized through all of my computers. I have an awesome video about how to do this, and if you're not synchronizing your dotfiles, you're definitely missing out. Okay, so if I were to go into local share ZSH completions, right? So this directory usually doesn't exist. I just randomly chose this destination, and I just put a couple of completions files in there. So if I do ll, you're gonna see that there are a couple of files that all start with an underscore, which is a convention, and they're called by the names of the tools that these completions are for. For example, one of them is CS, course here. I recently made a video about it, so you can do CS and then tab, and I have the completions. All right, I can do something else, for example, Scala fix and then hyphen and then tab, and I have the completions for Scala fix. All right, let me go back over here. Let me clear the screen. Now let's have a look at how these files are loaded. And for this, we're simply going to open my zsh-rc. All right, now I'm using zsh, so the initial version of the zsh-rc was actually generated with zsh. Let me actually search for completions. Okay, now as already mentioned, I'm synchronizing all my dot files, and so my zsh-rc is available on GitHub, so you can just go and start copy pasting stuff. Okay, but essentially at some point I have this comment over here. My comments are gonna do all the work for me, for explaining things to you. The first thing over here that is happening is I'm adding this directory that I just mentioned. Okay, this is the syntax. You say fpath equals whatever is already in fpath, prepended with a space, and then home local share zsh completions. Okay, you don't have to put it there. You can create your own directory, do whatever you want. Okay, then you do autoload comp init, and if you Google for completions in general, you might find people sometimes use a couple of other flags, but none of them are actually necessary. Okay. So this command simply enables the completion system, and this command actually initializes it, right? So it actually initializes, it actually loads all of the completions for you. Okay. I'm also passing the -i, and -i stands for ignore, and it ignores all insecure files and directories. And insecure means all the files and directories that don't belong to either root or you, right? So essentially if they belong to some other user. Now, if you're using zsh, actually you don't need to do any of that, because zsh does this for you. It's just that I prefer to try to not lock myself in as much as possible. So if one day I'm going to switch away from zsh, I want my completion still to work, but technically you don't really need to do this. So if I were to go up a little bit, then somewhere over here at line 84, we're seeing source zsh .sh. Okay, so if I do echo zsh, then you're going to see that this is actually not the zsh directory. This is actually the zsh directory. Okay, so if I were to open this file, which is what is it? zsh and then zsh.shell, right? So this is the file that is being sourced. Then pretty much at the beginning, let me actually maximize this. Somewhere around line 18, as you can see, a similar thing is happening. In fact, two directories are being copied to the path, zsh functions and zsh completions. In fact, this directory doesn't even exist, right? However, if you just create it and you start adding your completions in there, and you're using zsh, then all of them will be loaded for you. As you can see, it pretty much does the same thing. It does autoload, but in this particular case, it passes a couple of flags, which again are not really essential. Okay, and then somewhere below, I don't remember where exactly, probably somewhere, yeah, over here, it pretty much does the same thing, right? It calls comp init, it passes in a couple of flags, it also passes in -i, for example. As you can see, you can also use an environment variable to control a little bit if this is going to be executed or this one. Now, as already mentioned, another way to add completions is by using plugins, but at the end of the day, essentially, they will do the same thing, right? They will download the file, they will put it on the fpath. Okay, so if I actually go back to my zsh-rc, zsh comes with a bunch of plugins, like for example Docker and Docker Compose. And in this particular case, all they do is they provide completions. I don't actually believe that these particular two plugins are providing anything else. For example, the Git plugin, it actually comes also with a bunch of aliases, right? And these other plugins, they're doing completely different things. But I believe that these particular two, they just come with completions. In fact, I already have it opened in my browser. So this is on my zsh, and this is a Docker file. And as you can see, well, you're not familiar with the syntax yet, but this is just a completions file. Okay, so over here you have the Docker arguments, Docker get containers, and all of these things, which allows me to go over here and do something like Docker tab. And there you go, you have attached build and all of these things. Okay, just because I have this plugin, they come in bundled with zsh. You just need to enable them. I also want to show you a different plugin that I'm actually not using, but like usually, like this plugin that I just showed you, Docker, just download it. It adds completions just for Docker. However, there's also a plugin that adds completions to a bunch of tools. It's called zsh completions, and as you can see, it says these are additional completion definitions for zsh. The project aims to add gathering, developing new completion scripts that are not available in zsh yet. The scripts may be contributed to zsh project when stable enough. Okay, and as you can see over here, I'm using a plugin called Octatree, and if you open this, you're going to see it's just a shit ton of tools. A lot of them, like I don't even know most of them, right? But it actually contains completions for SBT, and in fact, I might actually install this plugin at some point, and I'm going to check it out. I'm actually kind of curious because SBT doesn't actually come with completions. Interesting. might be interested in this one. All right, so what if zsh doesn't have completions for your tool, and also what if there is no plugin? Well, in this particular case, you have to take matters in your own hands. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to write them from scratch. Most CLI tools, they can either generate completions for you, they have a special command for this, and if they don't, then chances are that that these tools are open source, and they already generated completions file might be available on GitHub. So all you need to do is to download it, right? And let's not forget that because you're taking matters in your own hand, you should also not forget to have some sort of mechanics to keep them up to date. So let's actually go back to my other virtual desktop, and I'm going to close this, and I'm going to show you a function that I have in my zsh-rc called refresh completions. Okay, so it's just a simple function that I wrote. It just declares a variable with my directory. This is a directory where I'm putting the completions, and these are all the completions that I'm managing manually myself. For example, for a tool called Bloop, I'm simply downloading it from GitHub, putting it into this directory. I'm calling it _Bloop, right? It's a convention underscore and then the name of the tool. Okay, so this is Corsair, for example. Corsair has two versions. One is the JVM based version. The other one is the GraalVM native image. And so I'm downloading it twice, and then I'm using the tool called SED to replace actually one line in the CS file. And this line is actually in the beginning of the file, and it describes what the completions functions in this file are for which tool. Okay, so because I'm downloading, because I'm generating the same file, like in this particular case I was downloading a file, in this particular and in this case I'm generating completions, they're obviously being, exactly the same file is being generated. Okay, however, in this particular case I need the file to look a little bit different for one of them. Okay, so I'm using I'm finding the line which looks like this, #comdev Corsair, and I'm replacing it with #comdev CS. Doing a similar thing for the GitHub CLI. I recently made a video about it. Same thing for Scala Fix. Scala FMT does not have completions, so I have to download them from GitHub. Okay, so I have this function, and I also have an alias called update, which does sudo apt update, sudo apt full upgrade, sudo apt auto remove, and also it refreshes my completions. Okay, so at any point in time I just run these and my completions are refreshed. So as you can see, these completions are here. All right, so now what if there are no completions, there is no plugin, and you cannot generate it, you cannot download it? Well, in this particular case, you have to write them. We're not going to do any of that today, but I'm going to leave a couple of very useful links to people who have written blogs about it, and also to the official documentation about how to do it. If we were to open one of these files, you're going to see that the syntax is very, I don't know, bash-like. So I'm going to open this one, for example. The first line always has to be compdev CS. Okay, well, not CS is the name of the tool. It has to be compdev, which is the language for the completions, and then the name of the tool. And then you're basically declaring functions. You're declaring, the top level commands, then the arguments, you pattern match on them at some point, and so on. Okay, again, we're not going to look too deeply into this syntax, but I'm going to leave a couple of links down in the description. Now, if you happen to be on the other side of the coin and you happen to be somebody who is creating a CLI, then chances are that you're using some library or some framework for the delivery portion of your application, which is going to be the CLI in this case. So again, like unless you're doing it by hand, chances are that this library might be able to generate completions for you. For example, in the Scala ecosystem, there is a tool called Decline. And I haven't played with it yet, and it actually cannot do this yet, but at least there is already an issue. The issue is a couple of years old, but you never know. Maybe one day they will add it. Okay, so the point is that whatever language you're using to create your CLI, chances are that there is a library that first of all can help you do that, and maybe this library will also have a feature to generate these completions for you, so you don't have to learn this entire language and write the whole thing from scratch. All right, now we're pretty much done with the video. I just want to point out that there is also an awesome plugin called zsh-autocomplete. So what it does is basically as you type, it triggers auto completion for you, so you don't even have to press tab. Now, in my personal opinion, even though you can configure it, you can give it like a threshold, you can give it some delay, you can you can limit how many completions it will show you. For my particular taste, it's just like too much jumping around, and so I disabled it. For this particular video, I'm just going to go into my zsh-rc and enable it real quick. So if I search for completions, actually I should search for plugins. Okay, as you can see, I have it installed. You install it as you always do it. In my particular case, it was on my zsh. So I'm going to enable it over here. Close that, open it again. Okay, so now zsh-autocomplete not found. Oh, in fact, in this particular case, I don't have it installed because on this particular VM, I don't have installed, which gives me an opportunity to show you my install scripts. At some point, I basically gave up on package managers, and I created a domain, well, a subdomain called install.devinsideyou.com, which redirects to GitHub, and it searches for all of the repositories that begin with install hyphen. And as you can see, I have 42 of them. At the moment that you're watching this video, I probably have more. Okay. And if you do this and you also do /zsh, then you're going to find a couple of scripts that install these plugins, install zsh, and so on. Okay, so in this particular case, I want the autocomplete. The way all of my scripts work is that there's always like these two lines. You just copy paste them. The first line always downloads the script. The second line makes it executable and actually runs it. So you don't have to believe it if if you don't know, if you want to know what the script is doing, just click over here. In this particular case, because I'm using all my zsh, it pretty much just downloads it into all my zsh / custom directory. Okay, so I copied these two lines. I'm going to paste them over here. I'm going to press enter. It just clones this repository in there. So I'm going to close this again. I'm going to do this. In fact, let me actually show this to you. So in all my zsh custom, so as you can see, it already autocompletes stuff. Like I'm not pressing tab. It already autocompletes directories. Okay, so if I go over here, there's plugins, and yeah, so as you can see, like this is where it just downloaded it. Okay, as you can see, like I can't even type like one character. It's configurable. You can configure it in such a way that it will trigger autocompletion only after like the third character, for example. But still, so if I do something like git, as you can see, I already have completions. If I do I already see stuff. I do like init. It's sort of like in an IDE. But as I already mentioned, like for my particular taste, it's just like too much flaking and jumping around in my terminal. Okay, but take it for a spin. And also as a reminder, I have this suggestions plugin, right? So if I remove all of that, like in most of my videos, I'm doing something like G8 space dev inside you / Scala seed. And G8 is if you're not a Scala developer, is a tool called Jitterate, and it's like a template manager. It can download a template from GitHub, a template for a project, and generate a project for you. And so with this auto suggestions plugin, if I do G8, it will just show me that last time I was entering this command, and so I can just do write, and it will see. Right now it doesn't do what it's supposed to do because it's colliding with this autocomplete plugin. So in fact, I'm going to actually go and I'm actually going to go into my .files directory because I'm synchronizing my .files, right? And it will show me that this is the only change. So I will simply abandon it. Okay, I'm just going to do this. Okay, so I'm going to go out. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to go into my dev directory. Okay, so I'm going to do G8, and now it shows me my last command from the history. I just press write, it auto completes it. I press enter, and it's all good. Okay, so again, like technically this is like vaguely related to completions. It's auto suggestions from the history. Okay, and also there is this awesome tool called FZF, which is a fuzzy finder, and I should totally make a video about it. One of the things that you get from it is that you get key bindings, and so it overrides the Control-R key binding, which is the one that shows you your history. So fuzzy finder is a tool that you can generate like a random list, and then you can just pipe it into the fuzzy finder, and it will allow you to search through the stuff. Like in this particular case, it's a bad example because there's basically nothing in there. But if I were to actually go into this directory, maybe into there. By the way, this is another thing that a fuzzy finder can do. I can just press Alt-C and it will just show me all the directories, and I'm going to go into, I don't know, delivery, Scala, something like this. What I wanted to show you is that you can just do LL or something, and then you can just pipe it into FZF, and it will show you all the files that are in there. Again, bad example, it's just com in there. So com dev inside you to do, okay, here, a couple of files, okay? So I can do LL, I can pipe it into FZF, and now I can search through these files. For example, I can do random. Okay, and then I can press enter. In this particular case, it's just going to paste this, what it found. So in this particular case, it's not super useful. Why am I bringing FZF up in this particular case is that it also overrides the key binding for your history. Okay, so if I go into a home folder, if I just do Control-R, it brings up my history, and I can search for commands. So for example, the last thing I did was G8 was this one. This is pretty much everything that I wanted to show you. Finally, I made a short video, and yeah, I'm going to see you in the next one. For now, as always, it's been Vlad, devinsideyou.com. Don't forget to like this video if you did, subscribe if you want to improve the developer inside you, and if you learned something today, consider supporting me on Patreon or on GitHub sponsors, whatever you prefer, and let's watch my videos weeks and sometimes even months before everyone else, and most importantly, take care.